Okay, welcome back to another episode of Banking Without Borders. So today we're going to do a full breakdown of two of the biggest premium bank accounts here in the UK right now. Revolut Metal at $14.99 a month versus Monzo Max at $17. And we're going to cover travel insurance, FX rates, rewards, savings, and the subscription bundles that both banks are using to try and justify those fees. And that's ultimately where we're going to land. Are these accounts actually worth paying for? And if you had to pick one, which one would it be? Jan and I will both give you our personal verdict at the end. Now, it's worth noting before we begin, Revolut only just received their full UK banking license, which means for the first time, we are comparing these two really in a like-for-like way. Two proper bank accounts, two premium tiers, and just one winner. So Jan, shall we begin with the core banking benefits?
Yeah, Johnny, looking at these benefits, I must say they seem slightly underwhelming, especially the savings rate. Revolut offers 3.51% AER on instant access. Monzo offers 3.25%. They do offer, however, up to 3.65% if you're willing to take on a commitment. To be 100% honest, take a look at Deposit Scout. That's not even mid-tier. That's really bad, to be honest. And way better options out there. Similar with the ATM limits, in my opinion. Revolut offers £800 of fee-free ATM withdrawals globally. Afterwards, it's a 2% fee. Monzo has a slightly different model. So they offer unlimited fee-free withdrawals within the UK and a European Economic Area. If you want to withdraw outside of that area, it's a £600 limit. And afterwards, I believe it's a 3% fee. It's quite harsh, though.
It's okay. It's still a bit harsh, isn't it? It's not fully unlimited, but
being charged a fee when withdrawing money, especially if you know that there are accounts out there that are free that do not have that. I'm thinking of First Direct, for example. I believe they offer global unlimited withdrawals, if I'm not wrong.
It's limited to £500 per day. It's limited to £500 per day.
Right?
That's it.
Not going to start charging 3%, which is quite a lot, to be honest. Cash deposits. Revolut, therefore, doesn't offer this at all. You can't deposit cash with Revolut. Monzo offers three fee-free cash deposits within a month, and afterwards £1 fee. That's fair, on the other hand, especially considering that most people won't even use these 3 fee-free deposits, I'd assume.
Look, I think people are depositing cash, possibly not, at the scale, definitely not at the scale that they used to be, but I still think it's necessary, and the fact that Revolut don't offer it isn't good enough. Revolut also don't have check deposits, which is still something that people use in the UK. I receive a check every year from my dad for Christmas. It's still something that people speak about in the comment section. A lot of people are drawn to providers, legacy providers at least, for having cash and check capabilities. Revolut aren't offering either. So Monzo certainly win on that.
Sorry, I've never seen I've never seen a check personally. I've never seen one. Even can you imagine that? I think that's not a common thing in Germany at all. So even growing up, I've never seen a check in my whole life. It's funny that you say that it's a common thing in the UK still.
Yeah, common to some degree, but definitely on the way out. And but Monzo offering it puts them one step ahead of Revolut. A little bit like investments, in my opinion. Jan, I'll be curious to hear your opinion. But Revolut offer 10 fee-free investments, while Monzo are offering something a little bit more sort of set and forget and structured, whereby you can invest in certain funds depending on your appetite for risk. So they have funds with low risk, they have funds with high risk, but ultimately there is a fund fee and a Monzo platform fee. The platform fee with Monzo is 0.2%. I think that's reduced from 0.25%, and there's also a fund fee. This may vary, Jan, depending on which fund you're investing in, but I believe it's 0.14%, which you pay directly to, or somewhat to BlackRock, because they're managing the funds. The fees are capped at £200 per year, I believe.
Yeah, that's for the platform fee only. So they charge,
for the platform
as you mentioned, they charge 0.2% for max customers, and that's only on a balance of up to 100,000. So let's say you have 200,000, you'd still only be paying that platform fee on on these first 100,000 that you have within the account.
How would you summarize the comparison between Revolut and Monzo Max on trading?
I don't think they compare at all, because one thing is a set and forget, as you said really well, and the other thing is an investment platform, at least kind of an investment platform. How do they compare? Do they even compare? In my opinion, they don't.
Not really, no. One is clearly for someone possibly more committed who wants to get really involved in potentially trading daily or looking at specific equities, whereas Monzo are offering something which is far simpler. The same can be said for sending money internationally, right? Revolut has a far more advanced system in doing so. They've made they've allowed or they enable cheaper transfers, whereas Monzo is a bit more basic. They're just using Wise, which enable 38 currencies and have a lot of trust associated to the brand. But as a result of that, the fees with sending money through Monzo via Wise is far more expensive than sending money internationally with Revolut.
Yeah, 4 to 5 times more even.
Oh.
I mean, it's still okay. It's still not insanely expensive either. Just more expensive than what Revolut has to offer. Especially considering that Metal customers get this 40% discount, so that makes it even more attractive.
I don't think a huge amount of people will be drawn to Monzo for sending money internationally. That's probably something that people are doing maybe once a year. No one. Yeah. There's going to be someone.
I mean, there's going
to be someone.
No, because that's just nothing that makes the account stand out at all, right? If you are looking to withdraw money internationally, right? If that was your main goal, you'd not be looking at Monzo at all. You'd be looking at other options. You'd be looking at Revolut. And to be honest, even being a Monzo customer, you could just sign up with Revolut, use their IMT service. You'd not be taking advantage of that 40% discount, but it's still cheap.
What's interesting here is there's no defined, definite or obvious winner for the core banking benefits. Savings rates are relatively weak. The ATM withdrawals are relatively weak on both sides, I should say. I mean, obviously, check and cash deposits give Monzo the clear victory. Investments, well, that's dependent on the person. And then money transfers, well, it's clearly Revolut. So it's a bit of a mix, isn't it? I think
100%.
I don't even know who to give this to.
Yeah, I'd say Monzo because they allow cash deposits. They allow, they have better regulations when it comes to cash withdrawals, especially within the UK and the European Economic Area. So I'd award this to Monzo personally. I think that's the better primary bank account.
Yeah, we know that Max is more of an insurance bolt-on, right? Because that's where it's quite clearly a defining winner. We're going to talk about the travel insurance, and there is obviously some similarities here because Revolut are offering travel insurance, but this Monzo Max account it's all about the insurance because a lot of the perks that are available come with the perks account. The big thing here is how to qualify for these insurances with both providers, right, Jan? Revolut requires 75% of your trip to be paid for with your card, whereas to qualify with Monzo for the insurance, you have to just have the account, and it's done. And that, I think, is a really important differentiator. Another one is the fact that Monzo are allowing trip lengths up to 45 days. With Revolut, you're covered only up to 30 days. Again, with the family bolt-on, with Monzo, it's an extra £5 on the Monzo Max fee of £17, and that means your family are covered. But also, something that, Jan, that I really like is that they are covered for independent travel as well. With Revolut, family is included, but they have to be traveling. You have to be traveling together. They can't travel independently. So I think that's an interesting differentiator. Jan, there's obviously some more we could talk about. I mean, the medical cover is the same for both providers, £10 million. The age limit is a little bit looser with Revolut. They allow you to be up to the age of 76 to be covered. Monzo is up to 70. There are some other conditions in there, but I think generally the winner here is Monzo because you are covered without having to use the card. You've got greater trip length. I'm struggling really to see where Revolut wins on travel insurance, except for that upper age limit. I don't know if you've got any opinions on it.
Johnny, they don't. They don't win here at all. And if they would, we could end the episode right here and just recommend Revolut Metal instead. Monzo is an insurance product, Monzo Max, and therefore, it's no surprise that they win.
No, I'm with you on that one. Monzo are also offering device insurance. Now, to try to get some type of device cover with Revolut, you'd have to use purchase protection, which is included in the plan, but you'd have to have bought your device with your Revolut card, first of all, to be covered. And you're not going to be covered if you crack your screen or if, there's a fault with the battery. Like, the phone has to be defective. It has to be broken. It has to be done for you to be able to make use of that Revolut cover. Also, Monzo Max are covering you on accessories up to £300. There is only a max claim value, Jan, with Monzo Max of £2,000.
That's enough.
On your device or your accessories, whereas purchase protection with Revolut will cover you up to £10,000 on any purchase. But again, this Monzo Max account is an insurance bolt-on add-on powerhouse account, whereas we're just trying to find something within Revolut's purchase protection policy to try to argue a comparison for device protection, but it can't really be made here. That device insurance is a dedicated policy from Monzo. There's also breakdown cover, which obviously you're not going to be getting with Revolut. They don't have that. That is the UK and Europe It's pretty comprehensive as well, really good cover. You can't really make a case for Revolut here, can you, Jan?
No, you can't. Not at all. You know what? That's very similar. Looking at the FX rates that both of these providers offer, we know for a fact that customers use both of these cards as travel cards. You know, when they travel abroad, that they, expect a good exchange rate. With Revolut, that's only partly true. They apply the Revolut rate, which we know for a fact is slightly off in many cases, typically between 0.25% and 1%. Of difference. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it can sum up pretty easily. And Monzo, on the other hand, they apply MasterCard's exchange rate, which is way closer to the mid-market rate, and typically the better option. There's one area where Revolut stands out though, and that's the amount of account currencies that you can hold with them. I think over 30. Monzo, on the other hand, only allows one currency. That might be handy for people that have a set budget in mind. Maybe they're planning a trip to Spain from the UK. And they'd like to convert pounds to euros beforehand, so they know exactly how much they can spend while being there. Yeah, it's a niche thing though, to be honest. I never do that.
It is, and it's not really dependent or determined by the account that you have. Revolut's exchange rates are, the same regardless of having Metal or Standard, and Monzo, you can have the Standard account and make use of MasterCard's great FX rates. You don't need Max for that either. And I think that's an interesting factor about this entire conversation, is that they are available to you regardless of the account you hold. Something really, really strong for Revolut are rewards. Rev points. Monzo don't really have a point system or a reward system in place. You can earn cash back, but that's on specific retailers. So that's purely dependent on who you're shopping for or looking for at the time. It's not, it's not vast with options for you. They do offer something called Bills Back, which is essentially like a lottery, Jan, where you can have your bills paid from your Monzo account, and they could qualify for, or if you were lucky enough, you could have Monzo pay your bills for you. Hope I've explained that well enough. It's just essentially a bills lottery. I have 3 currently coming out of my Monzo account, Jan.
Did you win?
No. It's only been a few months, but I haven't won. Someone's got to win though. It's available there, but that doesn't really do a huge amount, does it? When you think about what Revolut are offering.
Yeah, not even worth considering. There's a clear winner here. Revolut. Revolut wins the rewards section. You know what else Revolut wins? Lifestyle and subscriptions. Monzo offers some, Monzo Max, but Revolut is far superior here. Revolut is actually I'd consider it a subscription bundle, not even a pure bank account. Revolut Metal at least. So you get Uber One, Financial Times Standard Digital, which is worth, I believe, £30 or something on its own. The Athletic, Chess.com, Headspace, Sleep Cycle Premium, Freeletics, ClassPass, 10 credits exactly every single month. WeWork, 1 credit per month. Masterclass, NordVPN Plus, Pixar Gold, Perplexity Pro, and Tinder Gold. So some of these subscriptions, let's say you're subscribed to Perplexity Pro, cancel your account, just sign up with Revolut Metal instead. It's going to be cheaper. So some of these subscriptions really make this account worth it on their own. It's fascinating.
Yeah, whereas Monzo Max, where you get the subscriptions that come with, or the benefits that come with perks, which includes a weekly Greg's Treat, monthly View Cinema ticket, an Uber One monthly membership, and the annual rail card, of course. We calculated roughly that's about £26 of value per month versus Revolut that are, by our calculations, £140.
That's assuming you eat a sausage roll every single week, right? Or a different treat.
Or if you want to get the most value, it's got to be a hot coffee or a medium
hot
coffee or a medium hot drink.
Not a sausage roll.
That's where the major value lies here. Yeah,
in the coffee, not the sausage roll.
In the coffee.
I see.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. Not everyone's close enough to a Greg's either, and not everyone's close enough to a View, and not everyone's commuting using Uber or ordering food. These are quite location dependent, whereas Revolut are offering subscriptions that are, well, a lot of them are based online, like Perplexity, for example, and you can make use of that. Of course, WeWork and ClassPass might be based on where you are, but there's, I think, more of an ability to redeem and make use of the subscriptions that are available with Revolut, whereas Monzo, you could find that you're just not using them, which is something that happened to me during my testing of Monzo perks. It's a lot like the reward system. There's obviously a very clear winner here, but it is somewhat dependent upon how you're going to use the account. like Jan said, if you're using Perplexity Pro already, or if you're using FT Standard Digital, well, then you should, cancel those subscriptions and get Revolut Metal, because you're going to save money. But also someone, Jan, might be watching this that loves sausage rolls.
Yeah.
And that might be the determining factor. Do you like sausage rolls?
No, absolutely not. No, I don't eat sausage.
But you're German.
Yeah.
You must like sausage.
Actually following
of course,
diet.
But you're a vegan.
Yeah.
I was about to say, Jan is a German vegan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds so surprised.
That's fair enough. No, I just love German sausage.
Okay, yeah. Feel free, enjoy. What else can I say? You know where these accounts differ, but there's no clear winner in my opinion? The app experience. They have different approaches, fundamentally different approaches. Revolut, we know is you could say a super app. They really try to be everything. They want to be your bank, your broker, your travel agent as well. You can purchase eSIMs on there. You can invest your money. You can do so many different things. They've even launched a mobile plan in the past. We know that for a fact. And Monzo, while being very, very intuitive, it's a different approach. They just try to be the most I think the most simplistic banking app on the market. I think that's what they're aiming to become. And they offer everything you can expect from a banking app, but not much more. And that's quite fascinating. So it's really a matter of preference.
They're talking about phone contracts in the future, Jan, and I think they'll continue to diversify.
Why does every bank want to launch a phone contract? But that's another question. I think that's I don't know. I just don't get it. How are these two things associated with each other? Why would you do that? But I guess they have a reason.
And look, if you're thinking about either one of these accounts, there are things to consider in terms of if you were to cancel after signing up. That's a big thing, Jan, because Monzo, I don't think everyone will know this. Monzo Max is a 3-month minimum contract. So if you sign up and want to cancel, you only have 14 days of cooling off before you will be essentially locked in for that 3-month term. You're going to need a real serious reason to cancel Monzo Max within 3 months. I'm talking bankruptcy, major mental health crises. Something has to be serious. This is something to factor in. You're going to have that account for 3 months minimum. You're in for £51, and if you do get that Monzo card, what is it, a hot coral card that comes with Max?
Burnt coral, which looks really nice, by the way.
Yeah, so if you've got that as well, you'd have to pay a fee for that, which I believe is £5. And if you do get the rail card as well, there'll be some fee to pay with that because you are essentially buying that up front. It's okay. 3 months is fine, but just realize that you can't just, get this account purely for the insurance for, say, a single holiday. You'd be much better off just getting travel insurance specifically for your trip. Revolut, though, is harsher, right? They too have a cooling off period whereby you have 14 days to cancel with no charge. If you do get the Revolut Metal card, that will cost you £40 though, plus potentially any delivery fee.
Wow.
But after 14 days, it gets harsher, Jan. If you were to cancel the account between 14 days or 15 days, I believe, and 10 months, if you cancel in that time period, Jan, you pay a 2-month fee. That's if you're paying for a monthly subscription. You pay a 2-month fee. The account is then cancelled, and you have up until the end of the cycle date before it ends, before the benefits end. If you have an annual subscription, there's no refunds. You're in. So if you go annually, it's going to cost you £140 for the year. You're going to save 22%, which is equivalent to £11.67 a month versus the £14.99 a month. So there is a benefit to be had for going annually, but there's also something, there's also a commitment there to consider. So it's clear. If you like what you see, if you think these benefits are good, if you think the subscriptions of Revolut Metal will fit your lifestyle, if you're happy with the travel insurance, being a little bit harsher, but also having a slightly upper age limit, but a shorter trip duration. But if you're also certain that your trip, your accommodation, your transport will be booked on your Revolut card, I think with that price, Jan, I'm just going to remind myself, £140. That's not bad, especially when you factor in all those subscription benefits. That's definitely a reason to go for it. Go for that annual plan. Can you make a case for Monzo Max, Jan?
Maybe not for Monzo Max, but for Monzo in general, I believe it's a great account. Monzo has a great bank account. If you're just looking for a very functional UK bank account that's also great for travel, sign up with their base plan. Safety's £17 a month, and just go with that. And Monzo Max itself, that insurance. I'd book travel insurance on a case-by-case basis. And I think most people, they'd probably be traveling for 2 weeks at a time, so they can just go ahead, buy travel insurance for that period and take advantage of that and then forget about it. And with Monzo, that's just not possible. And therefore, not seeing the value here personally. But I do like the card. It looks amazing.
Okay, well, are you seeing the value? You know, what do you think of Monzo Max? What do you think about Revolut Metal? Are you using either one of these accounts? And if so, how are you utilizing the value? Are you making use of those insurance products? We'd love to hear from you. And if you have at some point used the insurance products, what was the experience like? What were the claims like? How did it go for you? We'd also love to hear your feedback on that, right? Yeah, and it's always very interesting to hear stuff like that.
Because insurances, they're good in one thing, and it's selling subscriptions, selling memberships, and then once you make a claim, it's typically where it becomes difficult, and that's where they really differ. You know, the good providers and the standard providers. Let's say let's call them like that.
If you enjoyed today's video, if you enjoyed listening to the podcast, do rate us 5 stars on Apple, Spotify. Give this video a like. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. These are some of the ways that you can really support Jan and I to help us continue to make this. And
tell your friends about it.
You know what? If you've got someone that's interested in Revolut or Monzo, share the channel with them. Share the podcast. Share the show. We talk about banks. We talk about German sausage. You know, there's a lot to learn from this show.
It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you.